Business owners and my fellow citizens, this is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. We've been open for 11 years now. We have also reopened our YouTube channel, and we want to put out quality videos because quality is in the trash. This video today is about the bogus investigation of ANSI attorney Jameson, Carroll, and concerning Chairman Russ Chaney, who is also the chairman of the nomination committee. Please listen to this audio file that the chairman left for me, Russ Chaney, in 2019.
This is Russ Chaney. Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Record your...
Business owners and my fellow citizens, several weeks ago, I put in a 54-page nomination booklet for ANSI, because they were looking for director-at-large positions. So I put a 54-page document in that gives my bio, my background, education, and also I have many letters of recommendation from some of my fantastic, all of them are fantastic, customers of mine. I wanted to get as many as I could, and we submitted that with our booklet, plus the 9 questions that ANSI requires you to answer. In 2019, I did a video because what happened is this. Let me give you just a tad bit of a background. ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental agency that has both federal agencies and corporations on board. In 2019, I read a deposition because I was looking into laboratory accreditation, ISO 17025, and I came upon a deposition from a Miss Pamela Sale, who is the Vice President of Accreditation for Laboratory, and she said a very disturbing thing during deposition. She said, one of the issues is that there is no commonly agreed upon set of standards that forensic laboratories around the country have to follow. Instead, there are informal guidelines that labs can choose to follow or not. Well, I looked a little bit further and then I discovered this factor, that a majority of forensic failures and scandals have occurred in certified or accredited laboratories. Being a quality professional for over 40 years, involved in both aerospace, medical implants, medical materials, printing, plastic distribution, where I dealt with all the different kinds of industries, it bothered me, being a quality professional, that you see that in a majority of forensic scandals happen in accredited labs, and on top of it you have the accreditation person, the Dalai Lama of accreditation, Pamela Sale, stayed under deposition that there's variances between one laboratory and another. You can just imagine. Think about Wuhan, China a moment. Think about that. Think about the mess up that went there, and possibly the release and a suspected release of COVID-19. And Pamela Sale just basically broke that down. There's different. If it's varying in forensic labs, it's varying in virology labs and your labs for phlebotomy, etc. There's variances. You have a problem. So I put out a video concerning A2LA, which is an accreditation body that sits on ANSI's board, right over by many labs who utilize A2LA as their accreditation body. I put that out, and we had a Miss Ashley Morton, who works for A2LA, state underneath the video, A2LA does not sit on ANSI. They are both American accreditation bodies with equal standing. Well, guess what? After I did a rebuttal on that video to Ashley Morton, teaching her about, yes, A2LA does sit on ANSI's members of management at the time. Now it's a members roster. And also, at the time, the IF, the International Accreditation Forum, incorporated in Delaware, was run by a communist Chinese national, Zhao Jinwu, who was also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services, which certified the laboratory in Wuhan, China. Yes, business owners, yes. And is absolutely unbelievable. And here is the picture. Okay, of Zhao Jinwu standing in the lab in 2017. On the 26th, because I did do a video to educate Ashley Morton, on the 26th of July, 2019, Russ Chaney, who I didn't know at all, left me this voicemail.
This is Russ Chaney. Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Record your...
I then wrote a letter to Joe Batia. Joe Batia is the ANSI CEO. And let's see, I think he snuck away. Here he is. Joe Batia is the CEO of ANSI. And the reason why we have failure here is because you have everybody, like I said, federal agencies and corporations sitting on ANSI, okay? And you have Boeing sitting over by the FAA on ANSI. FAA in 2009 gave carte blanche, or seceded inspection to Boeing to design, build, fly, whatever, the 737 MAX. You also have quality issues with the 777 and 787 aircraft. You also have the factor that Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson sit on ANSI's board right over by the FDA, where Pfizer pressured the FDA to push the EU, the emergency authorization of the COVID vaccine. On top of it, we have articles, you'll find it down below, that Pfizer skipped quality steps in order to manufacture the COVID-19 vaccine, or whatever you want to call it. You also have issues with Johnson & Johnson. You also have automotive issues. All of them underneath the banner. You have Kobe Steel, for example, who is fudging documentation along with Boeing. Fudging documentation and getting caught by the FAA. You have the FTC, DOD, DOJ sitting on ANSI's board, FBI, who investigates the investigators that they never even get done because they're all sitting harmoniously together. Joe thinks he's made out of Teflon. We have a picture, too, of Russ Chaney sitting there with Wilbur Ross. At the time, Wilbur Ross at that time was the chairman of the Department of Commerce. And I wonder if during the conversation, if Russ said this.
This is Russ Chaney. Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Record your...
So this is why we're going to call it a bogus investigation with Jameson, Carroll. Because you know something, we sent a letter to Joe Batia. Joe Batia sent it off to Jameson, Carroll. Jameson, Carroll, the attorney for ANSI, and he's been involved with them a very, very long time. A veteran, thank you very much for your service, sir. But there's a state between service and between not service. And I'm just going to continue on. And for any veteran out there, I thank you for your service. But this guy has been involved with China via ANSI, communist China, and we don't want to get, that's for another video, but this is about the bogus investigation. He investigated the audio file that I left, that Russ left from me on my answering machine. And by the way, I have the number here. I have the actual snapshot from my telephone that evening, and it did go back to Russ Chaney. So we sent it out, and he said this. Let me play it again for you, business owners, and this came right off the letter from the attorney.
This is Russ Chaney. Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Record your...
Business owners, do you find anything wrong with this? after investigation, they found nothing wrong? What is he, crazy? I then did a video for him, and I said, why don't you send that, why don't you, play that recording for your wife? See what she says. It was half a nut, fuck you. The reason why I put my application in for ANSI, not knowing, business owners, I didn't know that Russ Chaney was the guy at the end of the questionnaire. Here it is. There it is, business owners. Russ Chaney, okay, at the end of the questionnaire. And this is what it said. The committee appreciates your interest in serving in an ANSI leadership position and your willingness to provide us this additional information. Him. And here it is, right there. I'm going to leave it here. This is a bogus investigation that he did. In fact, we most recently received a letter back from him because we sent a letter out after we got this refusal letter stating that it's funny, stating that there were some people who were objecting to your on the ballot. And that person, without a doubt in my mind, was Russ Chaney. What do you think? Let me know. My telephone number is 203-556-1493. And business owners, this video is about, in simple terms, is about the bogus investigation of ANSI attorney Jameson Carroll concerning Chairman Russ Chaney. Do you find anything offensive about the recording that he left? I do. He doesn't. Neither does Joe Bathia. What does that say about the management skills there? The leaders of this troop? Who knows? Thank you.